Hi guys, this is CA Balakrishna. In this video, we will be discussing case study number 11, starting with the first MCQ. First MCQ, the relevant geographic market in this case. Basically, in the case study, there is a company by name BLF Limited. This BLF Limited is involved in construction of various real estate projects. Some 50 years back, it has constructed a real estate project in New Delhi, and now it again wants to construct a new real estate project by name Jannat in Gurgaon, Haryana. Now, regarding this new real estate project, what would be the relevant geographic market? Okay, relevant geographic market. In this case, since the company has purchased land for construction of the project in Haryana, Gurgaon, the relevant market would be Haryana, Gurgaon for that construction. Thereby, the answer would be option A, Gurgaon for sale of services of high rated residential property. Okay. Option B, they have given Delhi. Delhi would not be the relevant geographic market because it is constructing in Haryana. It would not be Delhi. Next, entire North India. Okay, how could it be entire North India? There would be different prices in different geographic areas of North India also. Thereby, you cannot consider entire North India as a relevant geographic market for the project that is being constructed in Gurgaon. Okay, and whole of India also you can't say, because in India there will be various prices at various geographic locations. Therefore, the answer would be the relevant geographic market for the project that is being constructed in Haryana would be Gurgaon, Haryana. Hope that is clear. Next, second MCQ. You can answer all these MCQs of this case study without reading the question itself. Just for the first MCQ, you will be required to read the question. For remaining, without reading the case study itself. For remaining questions, reading of case study was not necessary. Let us see. The remedy available to allottees by filing complaint before. Basically, what he is asking is, if at all, the promoter fails to discharge his obligations, then what are the remedies that are available with the allottees, with whom they can file the complaint? First of all, they can file the complaint with RERA, that is available. After that, along with RERA, they can also initiate complaint to NCLT as per IBC, that is held in the case law Pioneer Urban Land versus Union of India. And also they can also initiate a complaint in the consumer forum, which was held in M3M India Limited versus Dinesh Sharma. Therefore, all the three options are available to the allottees. Answer would be option C. Next, the chairperson and other members of CCI office shall be appointed by, they will be appointed by central government, and they will hold the office till the time they have attained age of 65 years. The option would be option A, central government and shall hold the office for a term of 5 years or till he attained the age of 65 years. That would be the answer to MCQ number 3. Next, this one you can find in section number 10. Okay, section number 10 of Competition Act. Next, whether the collection of 95% of consideration by BFL Limited without regard to the stage of construction is appropriate as per RERA, assuming that the scheme of BFL Limited, the Jannat, basically Jannat is the name of the project, got commenced after the enactment of a relevant provisions of RERA 2016 for the particular question, and Jannat is registered as per the relevant provisions of the act. Basically, if you see in the case study, the project Jannat was completed in some 2010, but at that time RERA was not there. Thereby, for this particular MCQ, he is asking you to assume that the project was commenced after the enactment of RERA only. Okay, we'll assume that. Based on such assumption, he is asking you to answer whether 95% of the consideration that has been collected by BFL without regard to the stage of construction is appropriate or not. Basically, regarding consideration, what RERA says is that you can accept up to 10% as advance after entering into agreement, and remaining consideration will be accepted based on the agreement between the allottee and the promoter. Thereby, act is silent regarding payment of the remaining consideration. Payment of remaining consideration will be decided by the parties as per the agreement that you can find in section number 13. Okay, the same thing was done in the case study also. Okay, wherein BFL and the allottees have entered into the agreement. As per the agreement, there were various due dates that were prescribed within which the installments have to be paid. Okay, and those due dates are not in sync with the stage of completion of the project. That is irrelevant. In the agreement, they have agreed that they will pay the remaining consideration on the due date specified. That is completely left to the parties. Thereby, it is appropriate to collect the consideration as per the agreement. The answer, let us see. Option A, he says appropriate, as timing of payment is governed by sale agreement between promoter and allottee. Yes, that would be the correct answer. Next, not appropriate. No, it is not correct. Appropriate. Why? Since the necessary discount, there is nothing to do with the discount. Not appropriate. No, it is appropriate. Therefore, option A would be the correct answer. Next, fifth MCQ. The application of compensation under section 19 of RERA Act 2016 is, basically he is asking you, if the allottees want some compensation from the promoter due to the delay or any other defect made by the promoter, then who will adjudge the penalty or the compensation that has to be paid to these allottees? Basically, there will be an adjudicating authority who will be appointed by relevant state government. He will adjudge the penalty. Let us see. And the time period within which he has to adjudge the penalty is within 60 days. Okay, within 60 days from the date the application is being made. If you see, adjudged by adjudicating officer, okay. Appointed by real estate regulatory authority, no. Real estate regulatory authority will not appoint. By respective government will appoint. Next, adjudged by adjudicating officer appointed by appropriate government at advice of real estate regulatory authority. Okay, it can take advice of RERA in 30 days. No, not in 30 days. It is 60 days. Let's see. Adjudged by adjudicating officer appointed by RERA. No. Adjudged by adjudicating officer appointed by appropriate government at the advice of RERA in 60 days from the receipt of application. Okay, this would be the correct answer. 60 days appointed by appropriate government at the advice of RERA. Option D would be the correct option. By this, MCQs are completed. We'll move into the descriptive questions. Now, whether it can be considered by the commission that BLF Limited enjoys the position of dominance in the relevant market, and if so, then whether it has abused its dominant position. Basically, what happens in the case study is the BFL has entered into some agreement. The BLF has entered into some agreement with the allottees, and it failed to deliver the project to the allottees within the time specified. And there were also some other clauses in the agreement which were abusing the dominant position of the BLF Limited. And therefore, the allottees, what they have done is they have filed a complaint with Competition Commission of India, stating that the clauses in the agreement are in the nature of abusing the dominant position of BLF Limited. Like this, they have filed a complaint with the Competition Commission of India. Now, while giving a decision on the complaint, what the CCI will do, it will see whether BLF is really enjoying the dominant position or not. Okay, if it is enjoying dominant position, it is not wrong. Okay, there is no default if it enjoys dominant position. but it will also check whether the dominant position being enjoyed by BLF is being abused by it or not. Okay, if it abuses, then BLF limited would be at default. Now, first of all, in the question, along with BLF, there are some subsidiaries of BLF. This BLF and subsidiaries of BLF together holds 51% of market share of in the real estate, construction business of such a area of Gurgaon, Haryana. Thereby, you can consider that they are having a dominant position. Apart from this 51%, there are also various other matters that were specified in the case study. Based on all those matters, we can conclude that the company is enjoying, that is BLF is enjoying a dominant position. Let me show you what are all the other matters. See, first of all, you have to mention that to see whether enterprise is enjoying a dominant position, you have to consider all these points. Okay, you have to consider all these points. Based on this, you have to make a decision. Who CCI have to make a decision. If you see, market share of BLF is 51%. Regarding size and resources of the enterprise also, there are various percentages given in the case study. Based on those percentages, you can conclude that enterprise is, this BLF is having dominant position. And also size and importance of competitors. When you compare with the competitors also, the BLF is at dominant position. Okay, based on all these factors, you will come to a conclusion that BLF is enjoying a dominant position. Okay, that will be concluded. Now you have to decide whether this dominant position is being abused or not. To decide that, you have to check the agreement. Okay, in the case study, various clauses of the agreement were given. There were some 15 to 16 clauses of the agreement were given. If you read all those clauses, you will find all these points wherein there shall be abuse of dominant position if enterprise or a group. This is the provision you have to mention. Okay, after mentioning the provision, the points which you find in the case study after reading the clauses of agreement, the first point is unilateral changes in agreement and suppression of terms by BLF without any right to the allottees. Okay, one of the point in the agreement is that the BLF can unilaterally change the terms of the agreement without taking any approval of the allottees. That is one type of abusing its dominant position. And BLF's right to change the layout plan without the consent of allottees, and discretion of BLF to change interstate areas of different uses like residential, commercial, etc. without even informing allottees. Like this, you can find various points which says that the BLF is abusing its dominant position. Thereby, you have to conclude that based on all above those points, BLF is abusing its dominant position. Okay, that would be the conclusion to the answer. One second, what happened to this? Next question, whether the contentions of BLF Limited that CCI has no jurisdiction over the case by providing the reasons for the same in its defense statements are valid. Basically, if you see, after the allottees have made a complaint to CCI, as a reply to such complaint, BLF has made basically two contentions. One of the contention was the service that is being provided by BLF, that is construction of real estate, is not within the jurisdiction of CCI. That is the first contention. If you see the definition of service that is provided in Competition Act, you can find the term services of commercial nature related to real estate. Thereby, even services related to real estate are also within the jurisdiction of CCI. That is the first contention. Moving to the second contention, what it says is the agreements with the allottees were entered by the BLF before the date on which Section 4 of Competition Commission of India Act has came into existence. Basically, Section 4 deals with dominant position, but this Section 4 has come into existence in 2010, but whereas the agreements were entered before 2010 only. However, if agreements were entered before 2010, but based on those agreements any action is performed after 2010, then such actions can be stopped by the CCI. Okay, such agreements which were entered before 2010 cannot be enforced after 2010. Okay, all the actions that were performed before 2010 based on those agreements is okay. CCI has no jurisdiction on those actions, but on the actions that are performed after this section has come into existence will not be valid. CCI can stop them. Those are the answers that have to be written by you for those two contentions that were given by the BLF. Next, analyze whether the provisions of RERA are applicable to BLF Limited. If yes, state the penalties that would be levied on promoters of BLF Limited for non-registration under RERA. Basically, if you see, RERA has come into existence on May 2017. Now, for all the projects for which the completion certificate has been received before May 2017, RERA will not be applicable. Therefore, for the project in the question, completion certificate was received in May 2010. Therefore, RERA will not be applicable. Once RERA is not applicable, there is no question of levying penalties on the promoters. That has to be mentioned by you. Next, 9th question. What would be your advice for allottees with regard to the validity of reduction of carpet area as per the provisions of RERA 2016, assuming the project got commenced after enactment of RERA? See, basically what happens in the case study is, in the agreement they have specified some carpet area. Based on such carpet area, the consideration will be charged. Basically, if you see under RERA, the allottees have to pay the consideration based on the carpet area, but not on the built up area. And after entering into the agreement, after paying the consideration, these promoters have reduced the carpet area. Okay, in the agreement they have specified some carpet area, and based on such carpet area the consideration was charged, but while constructing the carpet area was reduced. Now the allottees are eligible to be compensated from the promoter for the reduced carpet area. That has to be written by you in the answer. By this, case study number 11 is completed.